Ever feel like you're in a battle with your own cravings? Well, today we're going to dive into that hidden conversation that's happening inside all of us, that constant and often conflicting dialogue between our brain and our gut.
Yeah, you know that feeling, right? Where that intense craving for comfort food feels like it's coming straight from your heart, not really your stomach. Turns out you're not imagining it, and there's a really fascinating reason for that disconnect.
So, to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to understand this hidden dialogue between our brain and our gut. It's this nonstop feedback loop, and believe me, it's influenced by so much more than just what's on our dinner plate. It all comes down to this big idea called nourishing awareness. The core principle is that our bodies are nourished by a whole spectrum of things, and the actual food we eat, that's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
I mean, just think about it for a second. The words we use, the emotions we feel, our deepest beliefs, even our memories and the knowledge we have, all of these things you see here are actually forms of nourishment. They send these incredibly powerful signals from our brain straight down to our digestive system, affecting everything from how we feel to what we crave.
To really get this, we have to rewind. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning, to what we can call the original equation, a time when love and food were basically the same thing. You know, when we're infants, our world is so beautifully simple. Our emotional needs and our physical needs are in perfect harmony. A cry for comfort might bring a hug, and a cry for hunger brings real, actual nourishment. There's no confusion, no mixed signals. And this creates that original, pure, natural equation. The brain signals a deep, vital need, like love or comfort. The body then receives real, life-sustaining nutrition. And the result? A pure, positive feeling of satisfaction. Love and food are completely intertwined. It's a perfect system. But then, something happens. Somewhere along the way, that simple and beautiful equation gets scrambled. The wiring gets crossed, and a huge confusion gets introduced that sets the stage for a conflict that can last a lifetime. We start to learn a totally new language around food and emotion. It's a language taught to us by society, by our families, by advertising. And at the very heart of this new language is a distinction that literally changes everything. And this right here, this slide reveals the absolute core of the confusion. The source material for this draws a really important distinction using two Hebrew words. On one side, you have mazon, which is truly nourishing food. It gives your cells everything they need. On the other side, you have okal, which is better described as ultra-processed stuff. It actually creates physical stress in your body. And this rewiring of our brain happens with messages we hear all the time, right? Things like, if you're good, you'll get candy, or you deserve a treat. We're taught from a young age to associate rewards, comfort, and even love itself with all that ultra-processed stuff. So love gets rewired from real nourishment to, say, a candy bar. And this is the absolute root of the problem. That cookie doesn't actually feed your body's cells, but it carries all the emotional weight of love and comfort and reward. So your brain is asking for one thing, but your body is getting something completely different. And that's it. The conflict has officially begun. Okay, so this whole situation sets up what we can call the double conflict. It's like a two-front war happening inside our body and our soul, and a lot of the time, we don't even realize it's going on. So on one front, you've got the physiological war. Your body is physically dealing with the stress from sugar spikes and artificial ingredients and all that. And then on the other front, you've got the emotional war. All the guilt, the shame, and the frustration from eating something you've been told your whole life is bad or a guilty pleasure. And this slide just brilliantly illustrates the cycle that keeps so many of us trapped. It starts with an emotional need, maybe for comfort or love. We answer it with stuff, which then causes physical stress and emotional guilt. But here's the absolute key. Our brain gets all these negative signals and it completely misunderstands them. So get this, your brain asked for love and comfort, but the signal it got back was stress and shame. So what does it do? It logically concludes, whoa, we must be in a major love deficit here. We need even more of that thing we thought was love. And just like that, the craving for more stuff gets even stronger. So how in the world do we break the cycle? Well, it's not about more willpower or more restriction. The solution is actually way simpler and much more profound. It all lies in the power of a single word. The way out of this whole conflict is to start to speak truthfully and beautifully to yourself. And that begins by completely getting rid of the word forbidden. Nothing is forbidden, there is only choice. And that simple shift, it puts all the power right back in your hands.
Okay, so let's walk through the first part of this new practice. When you consciously decide to eat something that is genuinely good for your body, something your cells will actually thank you for.
You say this to yourself, not "I'm being good" or "I have to eat this." No, instead, you frame it as a true act of self-care. I choose to pamper myself. This reinforces the idea that real nourishment is the ultimate form of love and respect for your body.
All right, now for the second part of the exercise, and maybe the most powerful part. What happens when you make a different choice? When you decide to reach for the stuff?
Here, you tell yourself the simple, radical truth, but, and this is so important, without judgment. I choose to harm myself right now. With understanding. That last part, with understanding, is everything. It removes the shame. It's just about acknowledging the reality of your choice with compassion for yourself in that moment. You see, by doing this, you're not creating those signals of guilt and frustration that fuel the whole vicious cycle. You're sending a clear, honest signal back to your brain. There's no conflict. The brain gets a message of truth, and over time, that honesty leverages neuroplasticity to literally help rewire those old, scrambled pathways. Because in the end, this whole conflict between our brain and our gut, it isn't really about food at all. It's about honesty. And when we stop lying to ourselves about what we're really doing and why we're doing it, we finally give our brains the clear, truthful information it needs to find harmony again. And that truth, well, that just might be the most powerful form of nourishment there is.